Hey everybody, it's been a while since I've posted a video and had some people wondering what happened to me, so thought I'd just check in. On the D2, I got the track guards here. You might look like this one here. It's got a Frankenstein weld there in the middle of it, and what had happened is the shields that I could find were for the long framed tractor. Mine's the shorter frame tractor. And I did some measuring on that. And if I was to cut about 2 inches out of the center of that and then butt weld it back together, you know, everything pretty well lined up. I mean, you know, the bolt holes and everything. So I did that, and I thought, well, I can grind that weld down, make it look, but the rest of that guard's just not real pretty. And for right now, I beat it down about in the shape and put that on there, and I thought, you know what, the weld matches everything else about this thing, so I just decided just to keep it right where it's at. So if I find me a real nice set someday, I'll grab them and we'll put them on there. But for right now, those there fit really good, and it's pretty nice to get on and off this thing, not have to worry about putting your foot down in just the exact perfect spot to get on and off of the tractor. So those were well wanted items there. Now my front one's in really good shape. I had somebody ask me about my red primer. I had nothing to do with that. Somebody that had this tractor before me decided it would be a really good idea to, you know, I don't know if they sanded anything or not. I'm thinking not. They just thought, well, we'll just slap a coat of red primer on there because that's better, right? So, that's why the red primer's there. I kind of figured I wanted to drive this, and, you know, that not being cat yellow or weathered or whatever like that, you know, I guess that's part of the machine's past. So it's going to stay for now. I wanted to take it to some places and shows and have some fun with it before I do anything else with it. I might try to wash it. The bird manure there on the back's really attractive. So made these guys here. I made some little pins that go in there. I don't know if you can see, I got a Carter key in there for right now. I'll try to get hairpin in there, but I made these off of the print that was in the parts book. It may not be perfect, but you know what? That drawbar doesn't go anywhere. It stays right where it's at. And this on my pin here, this was bent up like this, and this pin wouldn't it just barely fit in there. But I guess somebody must have hooked something on this thing and then pulled up on it, or I don't know what. Lord only knows what has happened. But other than that being bent up a little bit, this was a really nice drawbar, I thought. So I heated that up and bent her down, and it lined up the pins there. And this was in the toolbox hanging out, and I may try to make a, you know, similar to what the factory type drawbar pin, but for right now, that'll keep whatever I want secured. My fingers in there. Here's the other side. I did that too. Been driving it around a lot and having some fun with it. I gotta get me some headlight brackets. I got some nice work lights, just like for the front, but I haven't got any brackets to put them from onto here to for the light. I'll get them eventually. Yeah, the dog's been riding around with me a lot. She likes it. Well, I've also been doing a lot of other things around here lately. Here's a project here on the bench. Huh? That's not cat yellow, is it? Yeah, I'll show you some of my other items that I've been working on, and I also got this over here, and explain what all this here is on the my little cart here. Got some spools and scrapers and cast bearings and such. So, been busy doing something, haven't I? I'll go out here into the shop. Go out here, and what we have is out here in the barn lot. Got my Super Duty out, and one of the jobs I've been doing, I had to put a set of injectors in it. Yeah, I've had this truck here since 2000. I bought it new when I'd worked at the Ford dealer for about a year, and I thought I needed to. One morning, my buddy, he worked with me when he went to work one day, and I got up to where we meet in outside of town, and my truck didn't have any brakes on it. All the brake lines broke on it going to work. And I said, well, I'm riding with you. And he's like, with his truck, his old beater truck. And he's like, I ain't got no plates or insurance on this thing. I said, it's either this or we're not going to work. So we threw her in gear and off to work we went, which was the big city, 30 miles away. So, but yeah, I had I guess 239,000 miles is all you can get out of a set of fuel injectors out of a 7.3 diesel, because this thing didn't start, and it smoked and ran like crap. And I was like, oh, I don't remember what I put them new fuel injectors. I got in a little car and went to Tennessee and picked up a set of fuel injectors at full force diesel. So if you guys have a 7.3 and you're wanting to buy some injectors, I highly recommend them guys down there at Murfreesboro. They're a full force injection. They took care of me and got me some little hot rod injectors for it. And boy, she just scoot down the road now. I really enjoy driving it again. It's kind of a chore the way it was before. Well, here's the latest project. We drug this out of the fence row. This is a Kilfer Model 206X disc. It's an offset disc. This belonged to my buddy Scott's grandfather. Bought it new. We got the manual for it. It says on the back of the manual, this is the kind of records this guy took. On the back leaf of the manual says it was bought on a certain day in November 1949, delivered about 11:30 a.m. So he's got it down to when they delivered it and what time of day. So it's worth restoring then. I mean, you got that kind of it's really all these, you can see the new bolts in here, but inside here there was bushings, and all them bushings had seized, and then it was turning on the bolt, and the bolts were all rounded out. And so what I did is I got some old shabs, and I got on the lathe, and I made new bushings, and then I went up a bolt size and drilled out the holes. That way everything would be tight, just like it's supposed to be. And we had to do that on this pivot here, this, and then this mechanism. It was all stuck and broke, and there's little rollers here that help it do its thing. They were all stuck. So it probably would have worked, but not well. Now the tongue was bent, the angle iron was bent on it. So, and then this piece here, it was all fish mouthed out like my drawbar was on the Caterpillar. And then I made this pin on the lathe, put some washers on there, took this pin here where it just been just loose as could be, and we made that all tight again. And then back in here, all these joints here have that same bushing and a bolt. So inside here there's a bushing. You tighten that bolt up, and then it works between this bar and that bushing. And that's the way all these joints are, and they were all shot. So it was a lot of fun on the lathe. Now this disc here it's kind of cool. It has a bar that goes up on the tractor. You have to use your imagination. You're behind the tractor, and there's a bar that pops up here like here, and it has a chain that goes in here, runs through this here mechanism, and hooks onto this joint here. Now, whenever you turn to the right, that chain's going to tighten up because the tractor's going to turn up there. The chain's going to get tight, and it's going to pull up on this piece here. It rotates. Trust me, it's in a position to where it doesn't want to do anything. But you can see this over here. It rotates. And inside here, there's a little trip mechanism. Let me see if I can find it. This is all spring loaded. It's all got but you can see this deal here. Well, when that pulls up like that, that releases. This will go down, this key. I don't know if you can see it very well. This key will go down, which releases this piece here and lets this bar pull up. Well, when you're going down the two gangs of the disc right now, this is in the transport position right now. But when you're in the field, that bar is going to be, it's called the pushback bar. That bar pushes back on that back gang, and that hinges the back gang and the front gang to where they're angled. So whenever you make a right-hand turn with that chain installed and everything's right, you don't have to reset. This here reset, sometimes you don't want it to be angled. You don't want it as much cutting as it can do. Maybe you only wanted it to be like half as much. Well, that there, you don't have to readjust that, because then you have to back the tractor up and all that stuff, and you don't want to do that every time you want to use the disc. We had those kind of discs around here a lot. They were just regular, ours I think was a JBA John Deere disc. It just had, a V'd gang in the front and one in the back, and they did what we needed to do, but this one here would have been a lot better. It's a lot stronger disc. But that would trip, so it'll go back into this transport position, go around the corner and follow the tractor. When you make a right turn, make a left turn, you're on your own, but you're only supposed to make right turns, I guess, with this. Make the right turn, and then when the slack gets off the chain, when you tighten it back up, the drag of the disc is going to want to go back to the way it was, and it'll go back there, and that mechanism that spring-loaded part, it'll go back there, it'll click, and you don't have to do anything, as long as you make a right turn. Make a left turn, you're on your own. There's Oreo. But we've got the frame all rebuilt now. We thought about painting it, and then we just thought, what's the difference? I think everybody will like it just the way it is. it'll disc really good without a paint job. So as long as everything's greased and all the slops out of all the mechanisms and stuff, it'll be a lot of fun to use, and you don't have to worry about scratching it that way. Here's the tag on it. It's a Kilfer disc. I assume that's how you pronounce it. And it's a 6 3/4 foot disc. That's what they say. So right now we're waiting on to get some. We're gonna put some 22-inch. You can put 20, either 20, 22, and 24-inch blades on it, or 18 through 22. I can't remember right off the hand, but I think we're going to shoot for 20s or 22s on this, the blades. And we're going to have to make a scraper knife for it. It's missing 2 scraper knives, but other than that, it's all here. So we'll try to put this together and give my D2. I think it'll pull it just fine with them rubber pads. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't pull a disc. A plow may be a little bit, without any grousers, it may just sit there and spin. I don't know, but oh well. We got plenty of tractors that'll pull it, so that's been a nice little project. So get some discs on it. It ought to be a lot of fun. Then we got this project in here. This is where the water pump come from. Got my B model Mack hanging out in here. Kind of hard to get to here. I'm not one of them hyper organized guys, but yeah, it looks a lot better in real life. It's fell on hard times. It's got its water pump hanging out of it. But anyway, the water pump went out of it last summer when I went to the truck show down at White River Valley in Eleonora, and it's pretty cool the way they did these trucks. You take the grill shell out, and you pull the radiator out, and then you get to everything on the front of the motor through this hole. Other than you have to take the bumper loose or off, and because it wants to live about right here, and you can't get the radiator out, so I don't know. It's like a really good idea, but then they just screwed it up by doing something with the bumper. But I suppose back in 1963 when it was new, hey, that was a lot better than some of the other ways they did things on some other models. Changed some water pumps and some big trucks. It was a big job. But I've had this truck for quite a while now, and we'll get a water pump on it and get it all back together and wash it up. It'll stand pretty tall still. It's a lot of fun. It draws a lot of attention. It ought to look pretty good with a tractor on the back with the cat on there. So, but anyway, that's what's been going on around here. Here's some of my other jewels, but we haven't been just sitting around. Of course, you got, the time of year where you got to, mow the yard, 3 times a week, it seems like. Not really, but, and we put the garden out, and the missus had to have some flowers, all taken care of, and had to get all the stuff for the yard to make it all pretty. So we got it. Takes a little time here and a little time there. So, but that's what we've been up to. So we haven't just been ignoring the world. We've been sort of busy. Also got, work thrown in there. That's always a bummer. But there you go. That's what's been going on. Talk to you later.